Today at Manchester Theatres, I am having a great day because I am here joined by the fierce and fabulous, the sassy and classy Divina de Campo, who is going to be shimmying their way to Salford from the 19th of August in the Diana Mixtape. Now, fresh from their own tour, Divina is, of course, a RuPaul Drag Race alumni and has gone on to be in some epic shows. We're talking The Importance of Being Earnest, Chicago, an award-winning performance with Hedwig and the Angry Itch, and SpongeBob SquarePants, the musical, which I saw you in and it was amazing. They have been a judge on the BBC show All Together Now, have hosted Drag Queen Bedtime Stories, been involved in loads of festivals such as Pride, Drag Race Digital, and Turn It On Fest. So we really are with an all-rounder today. So it gives me great pleasure to say welcome and thank you for joining us today, Davina.
Thank you so much.
So the Diana Mixtape. I don't know what's going on properly with it, but I do know that it has been described as part theatre, concert, biopic, and party. So give us the lowdown. What can we expect?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, this is a love letter to Diana. It's very irreverent in the very best of British theatre's tradition, but it's very much a love letter to Diana. So there's five drag queens all singing live. All of us can sing.
Yes.
Not all drag queens can.
But you five can.
So there's
No
five
shade
drag
there.
queens all dancing and singing up a storm on stage. And then we also have the incredible Keala Settle, of course, who was in The Greatest Showman,
Yeah.
the wonderful Noel Sullivan, who is obviously from Hearsay, all those years ago, and he
Yeah.
is still fantastic, really, really wonderful. And then Lucinda Lawrence, who has just finished in the 95 musical for the Savoy and the UK tour. So there's me, Courtney Act, Rose, Kitty Scott-Claus, and Priyanka all in drag. And the way that I kind of describe it is, when you have an argument with somebody,
Yeah.
and then 2 hours later, you're thinking, I wish I'd said this. And then I should have said that. And then they would have said this. And I should have said that. And then this would have happened. And so you have this internal dialogue going
Yeah.
on in your head. And we, as the Dianas, are kind of that. So we're having a conversation in and amongst ourselves about the life and times of Diana, and we're having that conversation with the audience. So we're passing along information while also creating those different scenes and having that kind of internal narrative as well happening at the same time. And it is very much fun. It's about joy.
Yeah.
So it's about a celebration rather than very little of it is maudlin, because we've all the music, it's a jukebox musical in the absolute best tradition. So we have all the best pop divas in there. So there's Kylie, Demi Lovato, we've got Britney Spears in there, Ava Max, so there's all these fantastic pop divas in the show as well, their music is being used to tell the story of Diana.
Mm. So you've got right, so that's cleared that up because I was wondering, because I knew there was like five of you doing Diana, and I was like, wait, is that kind of like the different voices or is it the different stages? But you've kind of cleared that up. So with the script then, was it kind of set out, or is it like when you see on, the challenges on RuPaul and you're like, well, I want that line, I'm having that bit.
Well, if that is what happened, which maybe that is what happened, I was certainly not in those discussions. I was just told you're number 5, which is fine for me because that's my lucky number. So I'm number 5, Diana. But it's very evenly spread between us, who does what. And even though, there are songs in there which is one Diana is singing it, there'll still be backing vocals and things like that need to happen. So I think it's going to be quite full on, which I'm excited about. I love a challenge. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a couple of days press with all 5 of us all together in the room, and it was chaos, but the absolute best kind of chaos. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, I can imagine the chaos and yeah, but like you say, fun in the best possible way. And I mean, we've got five iconic drag queens and the other cast that you've mentioned as well.
Mm.
Of course, Diana herself being an icon. So when people hear Diana, they kind of get like their own memory or story or something. So what is it that you kind of like grab onto when you hear that? And has it altered since you've been sort of rehearsing the show as well?
Yeah, I think there are things that have altered. I mean, I am not a huge fan of the fashion in the 80s because I was very
Mm.
little and all of my clothes when it was the 80s were hand-me-downs. And all I remember is everything being very brown.
Corduroy.
Brown corduroy, all the brown corduroy. So the 80s for me were not the fashion moment. However, Diana very much was the fashion moment in the 80s. And she's also kind of punk, you
Mm.
know? She spent a lot of her time being told what to do and then just ignoring it and doing it her way,
Yeah.
rather than just um being malleable and amenable to the structures. She said, no, no, that's not how I'm going. Yeah, you've done that. That's great.
Yeah.
But I'm not you. And I'm going to do things my own way. So there's that kind of punk element to her, which I really, really love. And for somebody who, she died such a long time ago. We're talking about, over
Mm.
2 decades. And the lasting impact is enormous. It's
Yeah.
really difficult to kind of quantify just how big the impact Diana had on the UK and the world at large.
Yeah. And I think that's it, because everyone kind of potentially on the surface saw her as like a quiet, sort of shy, but she was, yeah, like you say, she found
Feisty.
her way. Yeah, she found her way of saying, actually, no, this is who I am, and I will shake the hands of people you're telling me not to, and I
Mm.
will do these things. Yeah, so ahead of her time, so iconic. And I wanted to ask you as well about we've got these looks like you've mentioned, no brown corduroy for Diana. Can you imagine? But what about you? Like, what inspires you for your look, for your drag? Um,
Oh gosh, for me, there's all kinds of things that inspire me. I mean, I kind of switch between really bright colors and then all black.
well, why
Today,
not? Cover it
yeah,
up.
exactly. And that's the joy for me about drag is that you can take inspiration from anything and everything. And so like my makeup for Diana is much softer, more pared down than normal. Whereas like if I'm doing panto, it's much bigger and there's loads of glitter and it's and as well it's theater. You want
Yeah,
massive so that everybody in the theater can see it. um so I don't have a specific thing that kind of inspires me because there's so much in the
yeah.
world that inspires me. And that's why I love drag so much. To me, drag is like opera, it's every form of art all pulled together. And that's what makes it so much fun.
I love that. I love that description. That's amazing. Um, so I want to get back to the music. You mentioned some of the performers' music that we're going to hear, but
Mm.
specifically, I want specifics. What kind of songs and what's one of yours that you sing?
One of the ones that well, all five of us sing it, and it's the opening song, and it's one that I've just like. I love Ava Max, and it's the all of the kings and the queens on the phone. They will pop champagne and raise a toast, and it's just so brilliant.
Yeah.
And then we've got Britney Spears, Lucky in there. There's Demi Lovato, Sorry Not Sorry. What else is there? Oh, uh, there's the um, there's the countries track, which is about I took my keys right to the side of his souped up 4-wheel drive. Did May's leather seats. So there's kind of revenge songs in there, and
Yeah.
then there's songs which are just about joy as well. So there's a real big mix of pop divas in there, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun as well for an audience.
It is. And what is going to be fun as well is all that cast that you've mentioned together. I don't think the theatre staff are going to be ready for what's coming. And I'm wondering, like, you've got 5 drag queens, you've got all of these Diana looks. How on earth are you going to fit into them tiddly little theatre dressing rooms?
Well, that will be exciting. We'll see how that one works out. But thankfully, from the promo days and the time that I've spent with these girls already, I don't think we have any divas in the cast. I think everybody is like coming in to do the very best job that they can as part of a team, which is, for me, that's the most important thing about, you know, working on stage with people, is that we're all rowing the boat in the same direction.
So if Diana was watching this show, and dependent on your beliefs, you know, maybe she is, what do you think she would make of it? I mean, from what you're describing, I think she'd just like be lapping it up.
I honestly think she would really enjoy it, because it very much is a love letter to her. Yeah. You know, all of us have a real deep, abiding respect for her and the impact that she had. And then it's very much a celebration as well. So, like I said, it's not maudlin. We're not doing too much about the post Diana moment. It's all about the joy and the amazing work that she did through her life. So
this show, let's skip to the end of it, and then maybe it's a year in the future, and the people that have put this together give you a ring, and they're like, right, we're doing the Divina mixtape. What is going in it? Who's in it? And what songs are there?
Well, there'd have to be Brighouse in there for a start.
Oh, you have to get the brass band in. Brighouse,
exactly. Get the brass band in. It'd have to be one of the first songs that I sang for a competition was Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong. So
I love that one.
So there'd have to be a bit of that, a bit of Oliver, Where Is Love? There'd have to be some classical stuff, like I used to sing Ave Maria for people's weddings.
Wow.
As a child. So there'd have to be some of that. And then there'd be some Frock Destroyers. Of course.
Oh, yeah. We've got to have the Frock Destroyers, of course. Oh my God. I think someone should make that happen. I'm just putting that out there. The Divina mixtape.
We're ready. We're ready for it.
Absolutely. Well, we've talked a lot about icons and things today, but I have to say, genuinely, doing this job, this has been an iconic moment for me today. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute blast, and I cannot wait for this show to come to Salford in summer, and let's just get the party started and have an absolute beautiful time together. So Divina,
we'll see you there.
Yeah, we will. Thank
19th, 20th, and 21st of August. See you at the Lowry.
At the Lowry. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we will see you really soon.
Take you.
Care.
Bye.
Bye.
Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales, would like to make a short statement.
Do you think you'll ever be queen?
No, I don't. I'd like to be a queen of people's hearts.